Welcome back to Politics Tonight, and I still have with me Dr. Betta Edu, the national women leader of the All Progressives Congress. We're discussing APC's big mobilization of women for the 2023 elections. All right, so what are you doing as the leader of APC Women to ensure that the mobilization of women is greater this time around?
So we had several strategies that were logged on into our tracker so that we can know where we are at what point, right? We have deployed strategies since the beginning of the campaigns, where we started with sensitization. We went all out to have rallies at different levels, state level, local government levels, which was headed by wives of governors, headed by the state women leaders, the local government women leaders, and indeed the ward women leaders. We've engaged at the zonal level and even at the national level, being led by the wife of the president, Dr. Aisha Buhari, and of course, the wife of our presidential candidate, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, as well as her partner, Mrs. Nana Shetima. They've been all out with women in their numbers, sensitizing people and working tirelessly to see that we can get in all the votes, all the 40 million into our coffers come the February 25th, 2023. And this has been ongoing. Right now, like I said earlier on, the women are narrowing it down. So we're pinning it down from the macro level now to the micro level, pushing our women at community level, at unit level, pulling unit level, ward level to start the door-to-door. We're flagging it officially next week, and then we'll ensure that every single woman goes out to campaign and canvass for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we are doing this on an issue-centered campaign. So we're not telling you stories of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We're not giving you promissory notes. We're telling you this is what has been done and this is what will be done. He has done it in the past and is ready to do it again. He has written it out in his action plan and he has started, and he will build on what even President Muhammadu Buhari has done for women. We'll do lots more. So these are our strategy. We're also preaching very strongly on our logo, the logo of APC as a party, so that we can get more and more persons, especially at the grassroots, to become very familiar with where they're going to put their thumb on the 25th of February. Beyond this, some trainings have begun for women across the country because we want to have very, very sensitized women who can go down as trainers and train the grassroots women on what to expect, how the beavers work, how are they supposed to come out, what are they supposed to do, what time do they show up at the polling units, how do they conduct themselves in the polling units. All of these are going on as we speak. These are our strategies to ensure that those at the grassroots are well informed. Sometimes you might be popular, but because the people at the grassroots are not well informed about what is needed, especially with the new beavers procedure, they tend to lose some of the votes. Sometimes you see people vote and mistakenly they fold the paper and then you find the ink staining another party logo, and then that vote becomes invalid just because of that. Or mistakenly their fingers touch somewhere else just while they are struggling to get the ballot papers into the ballot box, and that ballot, that vote becomes invalid. So these are the things which we're training our party members to go down to the grassroots and train other women. We need to be able to harness this vote. We're doing all possible within our might, working with all our key stakeholders and our mothers in the party to ensure that this happens.
All right, fantastic. But then you would agree with me that women representation in politics and governance in Nigeria especially is still a far cry from the 35% affirmative action agreed upon in Beijing. What are the major challenges hindering the participation of women in politics?
Well, again, a whole lot, but I'll start from the very major one that's held them back for several years. So you have this myth or cultural and religious holdback, where, like you were trying to state earlier on, this is the core north, and so a woman should not be in a leadership position. And again, I say that's not true. No religion, neither is there any culture that should support their women to remain at the back burner, support their women to remain timid. No. At this point, the entire world is advocating that women's voices be heard. Remember, the more women you empower, the more of nation building, the more speed you gain as you build a nation. And so we are moving into that level where women become key players in our political space. That's number one, the issue of the religious and cultural holdback. Number two is finance. Women are not financially empowered. This does not only affect politics, it affects even healthcare. When women are not financially empowered, they are unable to make decisions for their health care. So a woman is supposed to go to hospital and deliver because she doesn't have the money and she has to depend on the husband. And the husband comes and says, look, the other woman down the road delivered in the house. Why are you going to the hospital to waste my money? That woman and this other one are not the same thing. This one could be having complication, or complications could arise at any point during the labor. And that's why we have the high level of maternal mortality. So the number of women we can financially empower, it would increase the number of women participation in politics. It will increase the number of educated women. It will increase the number of women that can have access to quality healthcare services and make decisions at the right time to save their lives. So it's a whole ripple effect. That's the more reason why we need to, as much as possible, get women into leadership positions, get women financially empowered. Beyond this, there's this stereotyping around women. So you just have people who believe strongly that women who are in politics are wayward women, women who are in politics are too exposed, and so they can't be under a man, they can't be of any good in society, and the rest of it, which is completely wrong. We've had many women, family women, who are in politics and they have done well in their homes. And so women should be encouraged, even by their partners, to participate in politics. I'll mention one other thing which is always coming up all the time, where they say, look, you're not able to bear the heat in politics. Politics is dirty, politics is dangerous, they'll kill you, they'll do this. Those are all rhetorics that they put on the front burner to scare women from coming out to participate in politics. But I think those are old-fashioned right now, because women are beginning to understand that for our nation to develop, they must play key roles. And I really love the fact, I was so impressed. In the last 6 months, I've been impressed with the level of participation of women. Women go all out, even put in their own finances to see that their voices are heard and they can give support to our presidential candidates. And for that, I must congratulate Nigerian women and indeed women in APC that have gone thus far. So these are the issues that bother on women coming out to participate fully in politics. Of course, some people have mentioned that women don't support women. We have the numbers, and if we're supporting ourselves, then we should be able to pull through. Well, that was in the past. That's old news. What we have right now are women who are supporting women, women who are routing for women. You could see the number of women that showed up in Adamawa, even beyond what we have heard in other campaigns, just to support the female governorship candidate.
All right, Dr. Betta, you mentioned finances as one of the major challenges we have, or women have, that is making them not participate in politics. So then, what is your party doing, or what has your party done to delist this challenge from several other challenges women have?
The first one is the fact that since I took over from the office of the National Women Leader, I've been to several states. We've done financial empowerment for women at the grassroots, supported their businesses. small-scale businesses to grow into big-scale businesses. We've supported farmers. And of course, the government of President Muhammadu Buhari has also done a whole lot to support women in very close discussions. And indeed, when we went out to the field with the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, she was very clear on the fact that 70% of their humanitarian activities are actually targeted at women. So the unconditional cash transfer to small businesses are all targeted at women. The survival fund, the Empower, name it, the market money, and the rest of it. All of those are targeted at women to empower them financially so that they can participate more in politics. Remember, participation is not just at the National Assembly or at the State Assembly or for governor or for president or for reps. It starts from the ward. When you have ward representatives, it starts from the councillors. When councillors are elected, supervisors are appointed, and of course, all the way to vice chairman and chairman, secretaries of local governments and the rest of it. We're beginning to see more and more people involved. One of the other issues which I didn't raise with you was the legal issue. So having legislations in place that can support women. And we're very positive that going forward, we'll be able to get legislations in place that will support women to run at all levels and empower them to do so.
For his sake, what assurance are you getting from the presidential candidates of the APC that women will get a much better deal by way of appointments than they had with previous administrations?
I think he's the only presidential candidate that has stated clear numbers, the role women would play in his administration when elected as president. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been very, very clear with his points. First, he said, I will ensure the 35% affirmative action and even more for women in my Federal Executive Council, for women as it concerns the leadership of the MDA's boards, parastatals. I will ensure that women, even at the level of employment, are employed. Every employment that is done will deliberately look out to have minimum 35%. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has some very strong antecedents which we look back at and we are confident to tell any Nigerian woman, come out and vote for him and you will not regret it. In Lagos State, when it was very unpopular to have a twinning with a woman as a deputy governor, he ran with a woman as far back as 1999, and he won that election. And after that, he has helped several other women to win various elections, from deputy governor to Senate to reps, name it. Even outside Lagos, of course, his party has produced deputy governor of Ekiti, deputy governor of Ogun, deputy governor in different states, including Kaduna, and is still going to do so over and over again. He was the first person who started this point of making women the head of judiciary in a state, women the head of civil service in a state. And as far back as 1999, when he was governor, he employed a lot of women into civil service. Today, if you go to the high ranking of civil service in Lagos State, you realize that you have many women. Most of their permanent secretaries at this point are all women. These are women who were employed 22 years ago and have gradually metamorphosed from being grade 8 to grade 9 and all the way up to grade 17, and now they are permanent secretaries in Lagos. This is the same thing he's coming to do in Nigeria. So women that have seen what he has done can boldly go out and vote for him. Again, I say, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not one who is intimidated by a woman. It's not one who feels threatened by a woman. A man who was a senator, a man who was a governor, was able to step aside from public office and say, yes, my wife, if you have the ambition and you're interested in doing more for women and doing more for the grassroots, go ahead and become a senator. And he supported her. He was not threatened to say, I sit in the house, you're my wife, I'm the one who is running, I'm the one who is the Jagaban, I should be the one who is outside every other day. No, he supported his wife. As we speak, she is a sitting senator, 3-time senator, and she has done well for her senatorial district. That has earned Lagos another female senator, which is coming in by the grace of God, who will be handling more than half of Lagos State, the biggest senatorial district. She used to be the former deputy governor of Lagos State. So you can see all around that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is one who has empowered women. Even his running mate, Senator Kashim Shettima, in the core north, where it was not popular to have women in leadership positions, he gave a lot of women as commissioners. I think about 4 or if not more of his cabinet were women. And of course, SAs, PAs, name it. There were women working in core north where you say, oh, they should not be in leadership position. He changed all that. When you have this duo working together for Nigeria, women can be rest assured and confident that they will be given their 35% in the Federal Executive Council. They can be confident that in all the boards, parastatals, MDAs, the leadership of it will have more than 35% of women. And of course, when it comes to employment, contracts, what have you, women will also be considered.
All right. I know earlier you briefly spoke about this, but now I would like you to extensively describe to us the commitments of First Lady Aisha Buhari and others in helping you achieve your goal of delivering victory to the APC with women as the difference markers in terms of mobilization.
I think the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mother Dr. Aisha Buhari, has been very, very instrumental, very helpful, very supportive in bringing women to limelight. I've never experienced that level of support, and I'm really, really very grateful to her, very, very grateful to her as it concerns women, mobilizing women, standing and speaking up for women. She was there when women were aspirants. She even took the step to go to the National Assembly to speak up for the gender bill. Of course, you know, she was at the party secretariat to insist that women be given tickets, ensure that women emerge as candidates of our party. In fact, she gets across to me whenever she needs to make any of those moves. And as soon as I call on her to say, Mommy, we need your support, we need your voice to speak up for women and mobilize women, she's always out there mobilizing women, both from the north, from the south, from the east, from the west of Nigeria. She's been a very, very strong pillar for women. Of course, you know what the result is. Before now, we used to have 20-something, 30-something women running on the platform of our party. Today, we have over 90 women running on the platform of the party. Those efforts have actually paid off. Beyond this, the wife of the presidential candidate has equally been very, very supportive and on top of her game. Remember, she's a seasoned politician and one who is also very people-conscious, people-centered, grassroots-friendly, reaching out all the time, doing a lot of empowerment, even beyond her senatorial district. She has been also out there mobilizing women in their millions, working hand in hand with the office of the National Woman Leader, where I head. And of course, it's been a wonderful experience working with 3 of them to mobilize Nigerian women. We've gone beyond party lines at this point. We are pulling everybody. It's a massive train, and we're happy that we're able to pull women, even from other parties, to support our presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Not just women, men are beginning to get the fire too. Of course, when you set a fire, it's not selective. It has also attracted more men because they've seen the energy, the commitment, the vitality we have brought to the table. They're ready to support us to ensure we elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the next president of Nigeria.
Right. Let's talk about the plans of your party's presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu, for the health sector in his manifesto, Renewed Hope. What is in it for Nigerians?
I think it's indeed a renewed hope. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has stated very clearly that he would ensure that Nigeria achieves universal health coverage, where everyone living in Nigeria, no matter your tribe, your religious inclination, or your status, you can have access to quality healthcare services. He's promised to reduce the number of health workers that are fleeing out of the country by creating the right and environment for them to work, and then, of course, improving on their pay so that they are happier to offer these services. Remember, when you leave Nigeria and you go to London, you go to the US, most of the people who are attending to you are still Nigerians. We lose over $2 billion every year to medical tourism in other countries for things that can be done in our own country. And so he's very committed to ensuring that we can get this fixed, beginning from primary health care to secondary, and then, of course, the tertiary institutions, indeed providing specialist facilities across the 6 geopolitical zones. That way our people can have access to quality expert care for whatever be their ailment. Beyond that, he's committed to setting up things like cancer centers and other centers that will specifically address challenges that are becoming a form of epidemic in our country, Nigeria. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is also concerned and very interested in looking into research. Of course, we import vaccines, we import drugs, and the rest of it. He's ready to invest and create a fund that will be targeted just to research, so that we can be able to manufacture more drugs, manufacture vaccines that are being consumed in Nigeria. Remember, we have a huge market. He mentioned it yesterday in Enugu again. He said we can become the manufacturing hub here in Nigeria for health products and the rest of it, so that countries like India, countries like Pakistan, and the rest of them that import drugs every other day into Nigeria can take a leave while we use our manufacturing to build our own economy here in Nigeria. He's committed to the public health response, improving it, getting Nigeria as a country ready for any public health emergency, so that we can attend to it really in good time, and we can forestall deaths of people in their large numbers. President Buhari has done his best, he's tried, but a lot more needs to be done in the health sector, moving it closer to attaining universal health coverage, and Nigerians can indeed be rest assured that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will do it. Other aspects of the health sector.
When you talk about
health insurance too.
When you talk about medical tourism, you know, our politicians and our leaders are guilty of that, because poor Nigerians do not have the money to fly abroad and get proper health care. Is your candidate ready to take the lead by ensuring that he stays back in Nigeria to get proper health care?
Well, I'll state his own words. I'll fix it and I'll use it. You know very well that we have seen some leaders in our party that have stayed back to get their care here in Nigeria, and we can improve on that. He said, I'll fix it and I'll use it. He also spoke very clearly on private sector involvement in the health sector. How can we bring in private sector, just like private sector came in to support during COVID? Can we build on that platform to get them more involved? The banks were involved, the media houses were involved, of course, TVC. For every 30 minutes, you will have the jingles and all the adverts go on to say, look, this is COVID, this is the way it's being transmitted, this is how to protect yourself. These are part of the things that the private sector have to come in and do to support the health system. Remember, health and information are like 5 and 6. Of course, beyond this, he has stated very clearly that he will take away the fuel subsidy, but he said he will reinvest the fuel subsidy into sectors that would affect every single household in Nigeria. And one of those sectors is the health sector as well as the educational sector. So Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is very committed to ensuring that everyone can have access to quality healthcare services where they need it, where they live, at least within 15 kilometers from where they live. They should be able to access quality healthcare services.
All right, sadly, we're running out of time. Let me ask you my final question. You know, having moved around some states for the campaigns, do you think your party's presidential candidate has what it takes to win the 2023 elections?
I've never been this confident. I have never been this confident that any presidential candidate will win an election the way I am about Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I have actually been looking out to really find where his opponents are, and I'm gradually not even seeing them in the scene anymore. Truly, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done a lot of work, serious work, on the grassroots level, at the level of the elite. He's done a lot of work. He has appealed to Nigerians, and he has gone around meeting the different sectors. He has held personal meetings with our traditional institutions. He's held meetings with our religious institutions. He's held meetings with individuals at grassroots. He has mobilized intensively, and every day he's doubling his efforts. Of course, you know, the hours Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu works. He works basically around the clock. Even at my young age, I would really have to go the extra mile to keep up with the way Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu works. And with this, we are definitely very sure that Nigerians will go to the polls on the 25th of February 2023 and vote the next president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Thank you very much, Dr. Betta Edu, APC National Women Leader. Thank you very much for coming on Politics Tonight. It's been interesting discussing APC's big mobilization of women for the